Good evening, sir.
Hi, how are you? Are you home yet?
No, sir.
All right.
Around 20 minutes away.
All right. Can you hurry? Hurry, but be safe. All right.
Oh, what you said, sir?
And I'm saying hurry up and be safe. I'll wait
Yes,
on
sir.
you. All right,
Okay.
cool.
Understand.
Hello, sir. I've switched over.
Okay, good to know. All right. I guess it's just me and you alone tonight. So what I'm gonna do is share some readings. Mm, 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 mm. I'm gonna share some readings, and then we can have some conversations. Oh my lord, it looks. Where is my reading? Where is my reading? When um where's my reading? Where is my reading? Uh, okay, that are the reason. Alright, you should be able to share now. Um, okay, there you go. Can you see?
Sir, blurry.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can retake it. It's actually a text that I have been using. It's on environmental chemistry. I promise that I will get a better pick. All right, so let us see what we can salvage from this. Now, it's just saying by the end of this chapter, we should be able to describe the structure of the atmosphere in terms of the troposphere, the stratosphere, the mesosphere, and the thermosphere. So, as we discussed, oh, you weren't here last time. As we discussed last time around, the atmosphere is broken up into 4 different sections.
Yes, sir.
The mesosphere, the troposphere, the stratosphere, the mesosphere, and the thermosphere. Right? So we're going to be looking closely at those. We're going to also describe the composition and temperature variations of each of the 4 major regions of the atmosphere. So those are the 4 major regions. There are other regions of the atmosphere that are going to be important to us, right? And one region, not a sphere, is a film that is around one of the sections of the sphere, which is ozone that we need to talk about. All right. So we're going to also explain some of the important reactions that take part in the troposphere. We need to be able to layer the atmosphere, which one comes first, second, third, fourth, and we'll be able to get through to that shortly. We need to explain the absorption of ultraviolet radiation in the stratosphere, and also to explain the cycle of ozone formation and destruction. And then we're going to also explain the absorption of ultraviolet radiation in the mesosphere and the troposphere. So it is somewhat blurry for you. So what I'll do is do just a quick read, and we can have a conversation at different points. So it says the Earth atmosphere is essentially for life. Oxygen is required for respiration by animals and plants. Carbon dioxide is needed for photosynthesis. Nitrogen is used for making proteins, and ozone protects us from the sun's harmful rays. Now, as I said before, it's not one of the major spheres, but it is part of the conversation. Because what is happening now is the depletion of the ozone layer, and it is creating havoc.
Changing unusual temperature, etc.
Absolutely, right? So it is helping to cause the drought, because you see we have a lot of evaporation taking place, coupled with the fact that we are depleting the rainforest, the trees, deforestation, because we are cutting these trees down to build houses and to build roads and other developments, making this highway 2000 and 3000 and 4000, and we're cutting through those mountainous areas, and we're cutting the trees down, and we're not planting enough. And as a result of that, it is causing the temperature to increase. Trees are important because they use the excess carbon dioxide that exists in the atmosphere. Carbon dioxide is important to us,
Yes.
It is very important. However,
Excess.
excess is what is causing the problem. And we are having an excess now because
No balance.
Some people have 3 cars, yet they can only drive one at a time.
Right.
And,
Are the same household have 3 cars and everybody driving?
and guess what? And everybody works within a geographical region.
Yeah, no
But
carpooling, but one in privacy.
everybody wanting privacy. Husband and wife have cars. Husband works on Knoxwood Boulevard for argument's sake. Wife works on Trafalgar Road. But they're driving separate cars.
Oh yes.
So, carpooling is not something that we often practice anymore. And it is creating havoc. Serious havoc. And we don't recognize until one day we're going to be gasping for air.
Yep.
And we're not going to
Or
be
wonder
breathing.
what happening. Their
Absolutely.
respiratory illnesses.
At which point in time it's going to be too late, because we're just going to die. We're just going to die. People don't understand that. So what it says here is that it has not always been this way. 5 billion years ago, the atmosphere consisted primarily of water vapor, carbon dioxide, and nitrogen. At this time, the Earth was cooling, and heavy rains washed out most of the carbon dioxide. Hello. The carbon dioxide with the rain, and a little later on we'll see that reaction. It reacts with a little bit of carbon dioxide that we had and wash it away. So we had clean air to breathe. Oh my goodness. Imagine clean air to breathe. The other morning I got up. I don't know where's home for you, Benika, but I got up the other morning, went outside, and there was what looks like a fog of smoke just hovering over where I live. And then I started to cuss. I went outside and I started to cuss. And I said, I don't understand. These people are unkind. Why are they burning? Anyhow, when I left and got up top of the road, I said, but hold on. I can't have a little bit of fog, smoke by my ear that caused it. It's when I reach up to areas surrounding where I live, plumes of smoke just hover over the atmosphere.
Mm.
I couldn't even see the hillside, right?
It was
No,
hillfire.
it was a hillside fire. Now, these are things that are causing us to deplete the amount of oxygen that we have to breathe.
Mm-hmm.
These are things that are causing global warming. These are things that are causing migration of certain types of
Sir,
species.
I just thinking about something. Based on the urbanization that we did, I thinking about the whole heap of high-rising buildings that
Talk to.
are being built, and I thinking about the temperature inversion and the whole heat island concept.
Mm-hmm,
And I just think at one point, Kingston, it gonna be so toxic. I
mm-hmm,
don't know what we're going to do because the AC unit, yes, that's one thing. But then the air just not clean, and then we're gonna end up with even now with the drought. A
mm-hmm,
lot of person having the virus because even me and then my daughter, and then when I go to the kids clinic and so forth, all the children, all
mm-hmm,
manner of viruses, and then you're wondering like why? And then
mm-hmm,
doctor saying, hey, it's because of the drought. So I'm just saying,
mm-hmm.
yes, we're developing, but I don't think we're taking this thing serious. I don't think we are. Because even the greenhouse things, I don't think a lot of the architect and so far implementing these eco-friendly methods in the
Mm-hmm.
building. Because when you look at the building, you're really not seeing anything that say environmentally friendly.
Well,
You
well,
probably see a little bit of trees.
but let me correct you on one thing. The architects would do the drawing. It is the developers
Yes, like
that. So the architects may in all fairness to them,
that's
the
true.
architects may say this is what should happen for a cleaner environment, but the developers have their own plan of action,
True.
and they will go and they will do what suits them because remember, it is to put more money in their pockets.
Right.
So to build an environmentally friendly home, and
Cost.
this it is going to cost more money, and this is where environmental engineering comes in play, because what you can do now, instead of putting in a totally slab roof, what you could do is to put a thin layer of concrete, and then you put like styrofoam on the inside of that as another layer, and then you put a protective layer on top of that, right? So what happens now is that the heat that is trapped inside there will not be able to be transmitted, because if you think of a styrofoam cup, as much as you put a hot cup of soup inside it, don't you can hold the styrofoam cup?
Yeah.
Man, it no matter how boiling at whatever degree that water, that cup of tea is, once you put it in the styrofoam cup, which is an insulator, it
Right.
will cause the place to cool. So guess what? So even if you're using your air conditioning unit, the mere fact that you turn on a unit for 15 minutes, that house will be kept cool right through the night because the air has nowhere to escape. But we're not building these environmentally friendly houses again, because what it is that we're trying to do is to cut the cost so that we can put more money.
Right. Maximize on the outcome. Mm-hmm. And some of the apartments that they're building, Lord of His mercy with the drywall. I
And
don't
don't
even think
you
it's safe. It
you
doesn't
don't
even
even have, well, the dry walls are not a problem per se, because I mean it is easy for you to, if you want to do some remodeling, you don't have to be beating the walls down. You can go ahead and just cut the drywall
Yes, sir. With the remodeling is one thing, but the entire structure, like, back then, well, I see it like two different apartments building. One took a
Mhm,
long while for it to be built, and they used the regular block and cement. And
mhm,
then now the other one, yesterday, they used the ready-made cement wall. And after a while, the whole wall start to crack up. And then they have like some issues, like if water, too much water, you realize that the flooring start to rise.
Right,
So
right, yeah,
in the
that's
back
true.
of my head, like this whole mass production thing, it go fail us. It go fail us so badly. Not even just speaking about environment. Well, we are a part of the environment. But as human being, boy, look right. I don't know what we're gonna do in case one of them building here go collapse. Cause we think it's joking,
No,
think
but
it's
them stay, man. You see, for me, really, it is one of the concerns that I have. It is reported that the prime minister says Kingston is going to look like New York
mm,
because um, more high rise, expect more high rise
yes, that is
buildings
it.
in the city, right? Now, concern, yes, I am, because as you clearly stated, when you have these two high rise buildings beside each other, there
Mm-hmm.
is going to be dead air between those two
Right.
buildings,
Yup.
right? So at
Mm,
some point in time, you and I will be, on the ground floors, will be hampering for oxygen.
yes.
We're not going to have clean air.
Where the trees and they're not planting back no trees. You hear me hear the whole concern with poor Devon House. I feel so bad.
Which is- oh yeah, don't even talk about that. I have not. I've been there. When you're just about to open, and I've not been back since.
Yeah.
Um, but
Want to
but
remove the grass, plant couple trees. But I think what they're trying to do is maximize on the building at the different business places, because even the other day they did have some they call it not refurbishing. They had some sections that they actually removed the grass and put some additional building.
where?
Devon House.
Let me tell you something. We are living in a concrete jungle, and we don't recognize when we get further into this whole environmental chemistry. They will understand the importance, the significance, the implications of what it is that they are doing, right? Because these high-rise buildings, some apartments you go to, they don't have. They may have 4 or 5 trees. That alone can help.
No, no, sir. When I realized that trees are so important, because yes, I did environmental studies and all that, but I was living in Red Hills and
Mhm,
I never appreciated the freshness of the air.
mhm,
So, you wake up in the morning, you wake up to your little fog, you walk and you breathe and you see smoke a come out your mouth, you feel good. But not
mhm,
knowing how important until I got to get myself and did move go to Corville Gardens.
mhm.
I
Oh, yes,
nearly
with the
passed
landfill.
out, Jesus
Oh,
of
yeah,
His mercy,
yeah.
because we were there and people, well, he was always sick and him all one at a time. But think me there go die, not knowing that it's actually the air because we're not used to it.
Mhm.
And the place, sometimes the river ton will rise and it affects us over
Yes,
there. When you
yes.
look at, like, for example, when you clean your windows or just get out a piece of cloth and just wipe on the wall, it's black,
Mhm.
black. The
You know what is
exhaust
that?
from the Lord of His
Soot,
mercy.
and
So,
that's
yes,
burnt carbon. So just imagine
if
if you
when
see
you
that on
bathe,
the just
oh
imagine when
God.
you see that on the wall, what is happening to your lungs?
Can I seriously, when you go like this and you bathe and you go behind your ears or in your
Yeah.
ears or in your nose and you wipe with the rag,
Yes,
black.
ma'am.
So I'm like, God of His glory. You
Yeah.
see, even your clothes, like when you go wash your clothes
Hmm.
and you use the water, you say, but it's not a black pants I wear. You understand? It's like clothes.
Yeah.
So you're not seeing it with the naked eyes. But you see, when
Hmm.
you're washing out that thing, black,
Yep.
black, I never did know so them things so serious. When you look at the grill, we had to move and it was really bad. So I never knew, because usually, you come down from a day, you go to work, you know, really that exposed. But when we're in the heat, Lord of His glory, they talk about Portmore. I'm not sure about Port. I've never really been over there for a long time, but I can tell you, like there, so you just bathe, and you're wondering if you bathe, and I'm like, but this can't healthy. This
Yeah.
can't healthy at all.
And that's a reality. So one should one should question the location of Riverton. Should Riverton be where it is? Because do you know that you have people, I'm not talking about Washington Gardens and Coralville and them place, but people, their
Live up
houses within Riverton's
right a
vicinity.
Riverton. Yeah.
Miss, I'm sorry, but
Quote and quote.
I will just leave the key into that house with all the furniture, and I will
Take
just
on
go
myself.
take away yourself because we don't understand. Hear what this part said. Around 3 billion years ago, simple cells evolved into organisms capable of photosynthesis. This produced oxygen, which has built up to create the atmosphere as we know it today. Part of the oxygen was changed into ozone by the sun's radiation. Thus, the conditions were created for a huge diversity of life now present on the Earth's surface. The atmosphere extends roughly 2,000 kilometers above the Earth's surface. So between the Earth and the atmosphere is about 2,000 kilometers. To study it, we divide it into four regions. Four regions. The troposphere, the stratosphere, the mesosphere, and the thermosphere. The atmosphere becomes less dense the higher you go. So what conversation we had last week was that, when you go into space, for argument's sake, there is, no oxygen, so you can't really walk. You float. So
Right.
life form cannot exist in space. Space exists, but life form there cannot exist naturally. You saying something? Hello?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
All right. So just think about it. So between Earth and the atmosphere is about 2,000 kilometers, right? And then now let us look at and see what the troposphere has in store for us. It says the troposphere contains 90% of the molecules in the atmosphere and extends the Earth's surface up to between 10 kilometers and 16 kilometers, depending on the latitude. The temperature of the top of the layer is around 2,000 kilometers. Mixing of different chemicals in the region is fast, and this layer contains our familiar weather pattern, right? That's the troposphere. The dry atmosphere at sea level contains 78% nitrogen. So you see 78.009, and then we say 20.94. But for convenience, we normally say that the atmosphere consists of 78% nitrogen, 21% oxygen, and then 1% of other compounds. Now, this is going a little bit more into it. The video that we looked at last week would have given us those figures too, 78, 21, and then the 1% will be other gases. So it says here, the dry atmosphere at sea level contains 78.09% nitrogen, 20.94% oxygen. You have a 0.93% argon, a 0.03% carbon dioxide, and other trace gases, right? But at this point in time, I think that percentage of carbon dioxide at 0.03
Increase
has increased. Absolutely. Has
tremendously.
significantly increased. Back then, even when I was a child growing up, we never had many cars. If your family had a car, you're considered rich.
Yes.
If your family had a car, you're considered rich.
Mm-hmm.
I remember there was one car in the yard. Little boy, um, every picture you take, you pose beside the car because that's all that you had to pose beside. You have when you have car, you have enough. Those cars
Yes.
they even came with air conditioning unit. They came with fans.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's not. every house where I used to live had a car. On that avenue, from memory now, I can think of one, two, three, four, about four cars of my neighbors on that long stretch of road. So when you have a car, you're considered rich because we depended heavily on public transportation.
Mm.
And back then no, I can't recall people
Only
burning.
for public
Yeah,
transportation.
yeah, right, and people burning the way they are burning now. You know, today I got up and I was raking the yard, and I thought to myself, it was such a peaceful 8:30 to 9 o'clock raking the place, and I mean it took quite a while for me to rake the yard because it's spring. So the
Yeah,
ackee trees
but
decide, the ackee trees decide that I'm going to shed all my leaf. The,
every
the,
tree.
the apple tree decide that it's going to shed the leaves. The soursop decide that they're going to shed the leaves. The lime decide that they're going to shed the leaves. And okay, here goes. And I'm there sweeping and raking, and I'm raking and I'm raking, and I ended up with one, probably 2.5 bags of leaves. And while I bent over and started stuffing the garbage bags with the leaves, a thought came to mind. If I did some other people, them throw curtain and light that fire, and start burning the leaves because they're claiming that they're cleaning up them yard. No, the NSWMA has a mandate to take these stuff away from us, and we need to start raking more. As a matter of fact, we need to recycle. So when we send our leaves and our cuttings of trees to the dump, there should be some organization who will come and take these tree cuttings and so forth and grind them and make mulch and send
Mm-hmm.
that to us so it is that we can use it for plants, right? Um, this is what I know is practiced in the United States. So I can tell you, I have gone to Lowe's and Home Depot and to buy an Ace Hardware to buy mulch. Summer you go up and them say, go be here just getting fat, so you can go to another garden and go work. And trust me, I used to love it. I mean, I love taking care of the yard. So I will take out the lawnmower and I will mow the lawn. I remember mowing the lawn one day and got a hefty cuss out. After me think we do a good job. But why I got a cuss out is that they got a cuss out because the guy who normally mows the place came over and said that, oh, you don't want me anymore. You got a new person and thanks for doing this to me. And so he said, no, it's my nephew from Jamaica that came and decided to just cut the place. I still need you. He goes back next month. So you need to come and cut the place. I didn't know he was going to cut the place. And the guy was most upset. So when I went back inside hours later, I got a cuss out. No, because they look forward to this, and you them don't cut the place and get that $20. It means some bills not being paid in their house because this is what they depend on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I here thinking that I am trying to help you out and I'm getting the cost out. But the truth of the matter is, when we start, planting up and refreshing the garden, so forth and so on, they said to me, drive up to Home Depot for argument's sake and buy 4 bags of mulch. I was like, what? Them said, go. And I'll go and I'm seeing buying the mulch and I'm saying to myself, but this is a waste. Because it's when people cut down them trees, they mulch it, they bleach it, and this is a red something that they put under the tree. It's nice decoration, but it is, and,
Regular day.
and I agree with the recycling. Why is it that we are not doing it in Jamaica? We're cutting the trees down to burn coal. We're cutting the trees down to build houses. We're cutting the trees down to build roads. We're cutting the trees down to make a concrete jungle, right? Because we don't want to have anywhere to sweep up. It's just a concrete jungle. But we don't recognize that 0.03% carbon dioxide has drastically increased, and that is one of the constituents of 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 global warming, right? Let us see how photosynthesis comes in very importantly to all of this here now. As we said earlier, carbon dioxide is important. Carbon dioxide is an important constituent in the atmosphere. But what it is that we're suffering from now is the excess carbon dioxide. So during photosynthesis, green plants convert carbon dioxide and water into oxygen and sugars such as glucose. All right. And of course, your C6H12O6 is going to be the formulation for your glucose. And that is when your carbon dioxide and water combines, right? Of course, in the presence of sunlight, and of course, you must have chlorophyll there. So it is that you can have that. So one of the byproducts is food for the plant, glucose, C6H12O6, and my 6O2, right? So I'm getting 6 moles of oxygen every time photosynthesis takes place. I'm getting 6 moles of oxygen. Now you see that C6H12O6, the food that the plant made, then put it for storage. So when the plants are going in spring now, when the plant leaves are dropping off, the plants can't photosynthesize, because why the leaves become yellow is because there is no chlorophyll right there. So what happens now is that when you see the trees without leaves, you may believe that, oh my goodness, the tree is dead. But no, the tree is still alive. What the tree is doing is actually living on its reserve food that it would have made. Now, if there is no photosynthesis taking place, the trees them are go dead out because they can't able to make no food for themselves to harvest. Neither will they be able to make oxygen for you and me to breathe. All right. The energy radiation is given by the equation, and you can see the equation there. We can read that sometime later. All right. So it is what it is. It is cause for concern. If we don't pull up our socks, literally pull up our socks, what is going to happen to us is we're going to die. We're going to die because we're not able to sustain, we won't be able to sustain life on earth. We won't be able to sustain life on earth. So what is going to happen to us is that we are going to just have a glorified death. It sounds away, but it's just the truth. And people are, and mark you, we may not die now. People may say, but never live. But what about the generation to come? What about the generation to come? The generation to come won't live too,
Right, we're just being selfish.
We're just selfishly thinking of ourselves at this point in time. All right, so we know that photosynthesis is one of the most important processes in the world, as it harnesses the energy of the sun, and some of this energy may be transformed into chemical energy of fossil fuels. The energy of these in turn converted to heat energy when the fuels are combusted, and then to electrical energy via the turbines of a power station for use in homes, offices, industries, and transport. Photosynthesis is essential for the formation of agricultural products such as foods, oils, forestry products, and organic and inorganic chemicals. The solar energy collectors in plants are mainly green chlorophylls, which are complex nitrogen-based organic chemicals with magnesium at their center. Most solar energy is collected at wavelengths around 660 to 680 nanometers. And then it says the energy with these wavelengths around 430 is also absorbed to protect the plant from radiation, damage, and for the use in photosynthesis. Let me pause right there and just say to you, all of what I just read there is that conversation about the ozone can come in at any point in time now. Because when we have that excess carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, what it does is it helps to deplete the ozone layer. So it is breaking down the ozone layer. So what happens? The ozone layer is that film. It's a thin film that reflects the heavy rays coming in from the sun. Now, when that ozone layer is cracked, years ago, scientists discovered a huge crater over New Zealand. I need to research to find out now if that is still the largest crater in the ozone, or it is that we have a new crater, a larger crater now that would have developed, or if the one in New Zealand is still the largest crater within the ozone. So what happens is that no longer can the ozone protect life forms on Earth from these heavy and dangerous rays. All right. What happens is that um, the trees will die because they're going to be scorched. Trees die. Will they be able to photosynthesize? No. So we have this buildup of carbon dioxide, and then no, we're just going to die also. So we don't recognize fully the importance of self-preservation, because it is actually preserving ourselves, either us or our offspring. All right, it's very, very, very important. Right? Um, it says this absorption of light leaves the plants looking green. A more detailed mechanism for reaction 1.1 can be explained in the following terms. Let us look at the importance of photosynthesis. So talk about solar energy. You have photosynthesis taking place. You're going to be having your sugars being produced. Of course, your agricultural crops, going to your creating food, forestry products, chemicals. When you talk about forestry products, what are you talking about there?
Like the furniture and so forth.
Mm-hmm. And um, and of course, you know that from these forestry plants, trees, etc.
Or medicine and dye and so forth.
Absolutely. Because I was about to tell you that quite a bit of our pharmaceuticals are manufactured from trees. A lot of our pharmaceuticals are plant-based. A lot of our pharmaceuticals are plant-based. Some people don't know that. Oh, when I say a lot, a whole bunch of it. People may just think now that they're talking about marijuana and what they can extract from marijuana. It has been around for donkey's years. Donkey's years. Quite a number of our pharmaceuticals. I can't tell you what percentage. They should have it out there. But quite a number of our pharmaceuticals are manufactured from these plants. So when we kill them, we don't recognize what is going to happen. I mean, when we become sick, we're not going to have any pharmaceuticals in order to help us get better. Let me just say this out there. Yeah, um, back then in the country, I'm a town youth, but I have had, when I was studying, I had the opportunity of spending a month in the country because we had to go and do some field work. Now, it was beyond me that I'm going to spend 30 days consecutively in country. Negative. So every Friday evening, me take myself up and me jump on country bus and me come at town because me not stay at country for 31 days. Monday, sweat. Sunday to Friday is good enough. Sunday evening to Friday afternoon is good enough. And I'm going to tell you, when them country people they sick, you think them go to pharmacy go buy no DPH and no this or not that? No.
Whole
When
bush.
when asthma take them and say, and them say, all right, come, go down and go pick them tree bush and so forth, and then go boil it, and they go make it cool, and you go drink it, and it works.
Mm-hmm.
The old time people them know all of the remedy them,
Yeah, true.
right? But we don't recognize what it is that we are doing. And one of them, I think Alicia said, we're not answering question about public education, if we think we're doing enough with public education. And she says, no, sir. And I quite frankly, would agree that in schools, every school should be able to have some levels of recycling so that the students can learn and take it back to their communities. But no, it not happen. Our school, for argument's sake, for years we were collecting those plastic bottles, soda bottles, and we collected a whole ton of these soda bottles. I know where we had these soda bottles stored behind one of the trailers, the bookstore, and it stayed there, it stayed there, it stayed there until years later. Those bottles were stored there. Guess what? It had to be that the persons responsible for coming to pick them up just never came to pick them up. So I don't think the country is really serious on the whole business of recycling. And we have to rivet that into the minds of our populace so we can understand what is happening. The death and decay um, of plants and animals, of course, add nutrients to the soil. We all know that. And it speaks about the heat and pressure now, from the chemical energy to make fossil fuel. The heat energy that is produced there is converted to kinetic energy, and from kinetic energy to electrical energy. All right. So that's the importance of photosynthesis. Very important process. And of course, I'm going to send these slides so you can go and reread this stuff for yourself. I'm going to jump. All right, let me do that one. All right, so it says solar energy is used in the so-called light reaction to decompose water to produce electrons. All right, the conversion of carbon dioxide into hydrates is a dark reaction not requiring solar energy. And this one here says respiration in animals and plants involve the oxidation of these carbohydrates, the release of their stored energy, and the return of carbon dioxide to the atmosphere. Right. So again, plants and animals are also adding the carbon dioxide content, right? We don't reach the exhaust from cars yet, We don't talk about the exhaust from these factories yet.
Yeah, so
right?
we have the natural cycle to
Absolutely,
create the balance.
absolutely. So we don't reach that conversation yet. So we are looking at different angles of the production of carbon dioxide. All right, the production of carbon dioxide, and I mean, even in Jamaica, we have quite a few of these manufacturing industries that are actually using lots of carbon dioxide. Something just came back to mind a while ago. I remembered it at the start of the class, and then I forgot about it, and it came back to me. Now, in some countries, if you are stopped by the police and you don't have a catalytic converter attached to your motor vehicle, they can actually fine you, seize your vehicle. What this converter does, catalytic converter does, is to convert those harmful exhaust into useful ones. So some of these harmful exhaust are contributors to acid rain. And that's another conversation that we don't get to yet. All right. Some of these countries that we speak of that mandates a catalytic converter, after a while, using an umbrella in those areas, you see different little holes in those umbrellas because of the toxicity of the acid rain that comes down. If your house is made up of limestone, you see little, when you used to use chalk and you go to the chalkboard and see the chalk dust inside a little catchment area there. So,
Yes, sir.
man, that's what you see around the periphery of your house, because what is happening is that carbonic acid from the carbonate CO3 2-, or the sulfite CO3 2-, or the SO4 2- anions are going to be reacting with water, rainwater, to form the carbonic acid H3 H2CO3, or you may also have the sulfuric acid, H2SO4, that is being formed, right? So the and also, because remember, nitrogen is in its greatest proportion in the atmosphere, you're going to have the nitrogen dioxide reacting with water to form the nitric acid, HNO3. So you have all these acids in the atmosphere that are being formed that, you know, will kill plants, get into the rivers and streams, kill these aquatic plants and animals too. So you see the cyclic effect. The aquatic plants and animals are dead. Man can't fish for livelihood, can't feed him family. What going to happen? Crime rate will go up because the man will go say, hey, think you alone can't eat food, they go buy supermarket. They go kill it for it. Not that it's right, you know, but I'm just showing you the effect of these
So,
things. Go
sir,
ahead.
is the I hear talking about the white thing because like sometimes you usually touch like the concrete outside,
Mhm,
like if the one not painted,
mhm.
you see some white something on it. But I thought it was just probably like weathering. Is acid
Not
rain?
it could be weathering, you know, but what is causing the weathering?
Oh yeah, calcium and breakdown.
Yeah, man, it's an acid rain that comes on, you know. So if I understand based on the conversation we're having, you being in that area there near to that landfill, um, it you will find it. You will find it there. When was it? Was it before COVID or no man? It was during COVID. It was during COVID when some fire broke out at the landfill, and um, oh my goodness, it was something else because I am I am very far away from the landfill, but
So we had to move, man. No, sir.
it also it moved from there then.
Yeah, sir. My God, we don't have respiratory illness. Also,
Right, right,
had to
right.
move.
And and then now one of the other things is that you're talking about people's investment. So
Yeah.
you buy a house for $10 million, and then you have to move. You don't have no more money. But when
Can
you're
I
trying to
tell
sell
you?
it, the value of the house depreciate now to $5 million because you don't work the
Yeah, the
10 million.
condition of the environment.
Absolutely,
People there
absolutely.
over there trying to find house to purchase, and
Hmm.
based
Yeah.
on what we experience, Portmore is the place that probably have like the most affordable.
Hmm.
And we know considering like why even though them having all of these housing scheme gated and all of that, the atmosphere, the air we have breathe, why rough. We still have
And
to reconsider because it really bad. It can mash you up.
and
Corvin taught me a lesson.
no, but it's it where I'm having my greatest challenge though is that in as much as how we try to do this public education and say to people, this is what is happening, we still continue to have the high levels of um of residential burning. People no longer recycle. Let me ask you a question. Do you how do you package your garbage for the rubbish truck to come and pick up? What do you do?
Well, sir, based on like circumstance though, because it's not in when we were in Red Hills, more
Hmm.
rural, um, like the tins, we'd separate the tins
Hmm.
because then you used to have some people that actually purchase the tins.
Hmm.
So like, oh, them when they do like the scrap metal, them would have asked for the tins, and like the plastic and the regular garbage, we'd actually pack them in for the garbage man. Because we live in the country area, any scraps and so forth, we go give them to the plants. So we throw them
Hmm.
on the plant root. Or your regular scraps to eat or say that give to the dog. But like no, my scraps go into the garbage. Everything go into the garbage and dispose up for the garbage man come for it. So that's really how we did it. So back then, even like when you blend your carrot or your coconut, you have the trash. We usually throw that on the pepper tree or the lime tree, and like even the dish, like for example, you probably wash the dishes, but you wash it in a container. You go throw the soapy water there on the lime tree or the orange tree, 'cause sometimes it have the fungus. So yeah, that's how we usually do it. But no, everything goes into the garbage.
Okay. What do you think caused all of this though?
How we dispose of stuff?
No. Yeah. The change in the lifestyle. What do you think has caused it?
It's kind of like urbanization, I guess.
You think so?
Housing structures change.
You said it. Urbanization. Um,
Yeah.
it is not fashionable to wash in a kitchen basin anymore, and
No.
to harvest the water. Let me go and charge this in 1 minute, please. Yeah. So it is not fashionable anymore um to go and wash in a basin. You live in a good apartment, and
Apartment. Can I tell you?
yeah, your neighbors see you coming downstairs with a little bucket of water every minute to
We're
that.
going with that.
Yeah, this country girl come at town. You know,
True.
there's
Yeah.
no
The
fashion to
level
it.
of liberty and freedom is so limited.
Yes.
And boy, and that's the reason why, like sometimes I'm saying to myself, two places I'm thinking about. Probably Canada if I live in Jamaica. And I'd like to live in St. Anne. Somewhere cool.
Mhm.
I love the country life. It's just that jobs not really so abundant down there. But I don't mind the level of humbleness. To be honest, I don't.
Well,
I don't.
let me tell you what one of the things, one of my practices at home. It is about um I have not drawn my pit for about between 10 and 20 years. It's just last month that I pulled it,
Mhm.
and that was not pulled for, I'd say, close to 20 years. I may say, wow, you have a huge pit. No, mark you, I have two. But the other one is pretty empty. I mean, it's actually like new, still new. But this is the point I'm making. When I use that washing machine, or anybody uses a washing machine, that good juicy water does not go into the pit.
Mhm.
It is harvested and used for irrigation purposes.
Mhm.
Because why is it that I'm between my soapy water and my rinse water into the pit and then use my potable water to go and water the plants? Negative.
Mhm.
Because even in as much as we are experiencing a drought, we know we still have to wash because we still have to wear clean clothes.
Of course.
So the place is very dry. When I say very dry, I mean very dry. The other day I was outside and the amount of dust lift up with the heavy winds that we had. I had to go for a mask. I said, there's no way I went to clog up my system.
So the
And when I,
trees themselves telling you how dry it is. No fruit, no big
no,
again. Apple look little bit like plum and falling off. Mangoes falling off. Leaves, everything.
talk truth,
Mhm.
talk truth. I mean, literally, I picked a few apples. And this morning I held about 9 of those apples in the palm of one hand. What's the point I'm making? To know how small these apples are.
So groundwater limited as well. You know, the
Absolutely.
plant can find them own water despite the fact.
Absolutely. So, you know, we don't understand what is happening. So I'm saying to you, I harvest my water. So what I used to do is when the machine is extracting, I bought an extra connector to the hose. So I'm able to stand up and I'm able to water from that vantage point the banana, the plantains. And trust me, those bananas and plantain trees were healthy, healthy. Um, and then the drought came and then everything's dry up and then we had a heavy wind and then the banana trees just broke in two because the bananas just don't have any water to sustain their lives. All right. The trees, the soil, the dirt is just any bit of wind carries the dirt with it because it's just wet. So that's one thing. The second thing for me is that all my plastic bottles, anything plastic that I'm throwing out, is separated. It's in its own garbage bags. And incidentally, yes, I do use garbage bags. All right. Um, my peelings never gets thrown into the garbage. My peelings go right back under my banana roots, right back under there. You talk about the soursop and the coconut trash and the carrot and the worms. All of those are fed right back into the soil, right? Adding my nutrients to it. The leaves, yes, are packed and sent out, and of course the kitchen garbage, is in the thing. So pretty much I have 3 different types. What I pick up in the yard, what is to be recycled, and the kitchen waste. All right. My cuttings from meat never ever gets into the garbage either, because if I'm getting cuttings from the meat and it's not enough, I will freeze those until I get to a certain amount. Then I cook it and give to my dogs. All right. So it's the whole business of knowing how to recycle. Um, and when we get to the lithosphere, everything ties in beautifully to it. When we get to the lithosphere, we will talk about we not disposing of our garbage in a proper manner, and we put our chicken gut and our fish gut out our road gate. What will happen to that?
And build up of bacteria.
Yeah, and what else? Rodents don't.
Yeah, and rats.
And the stench coming from it. And then you have flies. And then you're not going to have an healthy environment to live in the first place.
Aesthetic.
And the aesthetics of yeah. And just imagine you live in a good community and then people go past and say, my God, this and
And the dog them have a feast out.
and absolutely. Absolutely. Right? So we're talking about pollution right there. So right there, and then I can get pollution out of that. I can get pollution out of air too, because we don't reach the air pollution aspect of it yet. Right? So we have to really understand fully what is happening. Hear what this part says. The destruction of rainforest may disturb this balance of reaction by removing substantial number of plants from the equation. So we need to stop it. Yes, we know we need development. Yes, we know people need places to live. Yes, we know that we have a lot of migration and people coming from the country because of jobs and the likes, education, other opportunities. But what needs to happen is that we need to stop cutting our trees down. For every tree we cut down, we're supposed to be planting 2 or 3 trees to replace those. But we're not actively doing it. We need to literally stop burning. Literally stop burning. We need to stop that. right? I don't know. You know, it is it is cause for concern. We 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 don't understand what it is that we're doing until, and we may not fully understand it either. Truth be told, we may not fully understand it because um, we may never able to live to see or to experience the full gamut of it. May not be able to live to see that, but our children
Well,
definitely will. Yeah, and they are going to be saying, "What did mommy or daddy do to help?" So,
repercussion for action.
huh?
The repercussion of our actions
Oh
will be
yeah,
the demise of our children and future generation.
oh yeah, oh yeah. As I said before, the effects are long lasting. You
Yeah,
know,
because even now it's not even summer, and the time is so hot.
talk truth.
Nobody whole time so hot. I did back of my head, man. So, and these lovely buildings, aren't they looking beautiful?
Yeah, but I mean, they are they,
And all them cars. Boy, and they started from the
at the
road.
expense of killing our trees. Yeah, the buildings look good. Yeah, but you know, we're killing
Hmm.
our trees.
And
As I
we
said,
we same one like, whole time so hot. Where are
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
trees? Why we not feeling any breeze? Hello? But
Um,
nobody now look into that,
I
You just like, the sun come out. Yeah, the sun come out because guess what going with the ozone up there.
mhm.
So the sun just a going with himself.
Funny story though. Today I went to visit a family member who that came down and decided to stay at an Airbnb in Kingston. And I said, okay. I drive past here every morning to go to school, to go to work. Um, and I'm sure you drive past there too, because if your workplace is still on that avenue there, that road there, you drive past it. So I was much too happy to stop by so that I can have a look at what the inside of this apartment complex looks like. When I drove in, the car park is in the basement, and then the apartments, of course, will be atop it because I also remembered what the house was like before they demolished the house to put up that apartment. So I drove in, no trees in sight. At the corner, at the fence, God bless the amount of shrubs that they had right there. You know what is also true? Those shrubs will not come to anything much because there is no sunlight catching that. Because that apartment is being sandwiched by two other apartments, right? Two other apartments.
Mhm.
And when I went upstairs and I looked down, the other side of the opposite side of that apartment is a roadway. And I'm saying to myself, okay. So the family member says, oh, I'm getting hot now. Can you turn on the air for me, please? And I just smiled. I said, you're in Jamaica. You're supposed to be enjoying the cool temperature, but no, you need artificial temperature now because of the what is happening with our increased temperature. And it is unfortunate, and it's going to get worse. That's the point I'm making.
Mhm.
It's going to get worse. It's not even that we can say it's going to get worse and then get better, because so many apartments. I remember just before COVID, I I decided that I was going to mow the lawn, and I was outside mowing the lawn, And this guy walking on along the road, I said, okay, here's somebody coming at me, stop. And then the guy, started to engage in a conversation to say that he's a developer and he wants to buy houses cash. And then he said to me, how much are you selling this for? I said, it's not being sold. He said, no, man, I can't give you a good price for it. And I said, sir, the property is not up for sale. He said, boy, him like the property. But of course, it's not the property he wants. It's a yard space that he wants to
Yeah.
want to rent
Yes.
the apartment. So I
Mhm.
just kindly said to him, you have a nice day. Take your time and go and walk so I can finish mowing the lawn. And you have these developers, who are enticing these residents to say, how much your property value? I may say to them, $20 million. And
Yeah.
these developers have $20 million put down,
Right away.
right to come and give you the
And
$20
it
million.
make it hard for private owners to, or private potential people to
Absolutely.
buy. Yeah, because
Absolutely.
I don't know if you know, like Havendale or Red Hills Road, that section, like those plots of land, those lots were very big.
Okay.
And
So is that area that I'm in? So you know what you're talking about.
right. And as you're going, so if you see a house and the house kind of look like it's getting run down, just wait for it. Give it 2 weeks or
And it's
so.
gone. And it's
House
gone.
lit down.
Yes,
Mm?
miss.
So they
Yes, miss.
want those. So it's not the property they're interested in, it's really the space.
It's the land space you want.
Perfect. Perfect for it.
It's
Like
the land
sometimes
space.
you wonder how the apart, because one little house was there, with some mango tree, because mango tree is like prominent. Mango tree, some grassland. And then all of a sudden you see this big apartment and you're wondering like,
Monstrosity.
how would this happen?
Monstrosity. And
Yes.
not only that, they're building it. One of the rooms in one of them long time house there, you can put one bed,
Mm-hmm.
one chest of drawer,
Oh
one
yes,
dresser,
dresser,
two night
closet.
table.
Yes, sir.
You can have one chair inside there, a rocking chair,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and sometimes you can even put a stool in front of your dresser.
So those rooms were like a studio. The studio
Listen to me.
now, that's the
Listen
size
to
of the
me.
rooms. Mm-hmm.
The bedroom now. Oh my
God
God.
bless them. Yes. Wait, what people call in master bedroom now is regular size room in a them apartment there.
And they are being sold for $20 million.
Yes.
So they bought the property for $20 million, but they are selling each unit for $20 million.
Mhm. And that is the reason why when you're supposed to purchase, Lord of His mercy, when you ask like how much for if the house I sell, how much when you hear 25 and then what you left, I don't know. I don't know what will happen to us. I don't know.
No, but you see, but you're saying something that is truthful, because when you and I know we say a property, say $25 million, a realistic property, $25 million, a realistic
Yes.
price, and then now I will say to you, okay, I like it, I am pre-qualified for that amount, so I can allow me to just go and do the process. No, my
No.
process is going to take sometimes 30 days.
Yes.
But a developer now come and say,
One
him said,
day.
no man, you don't have it. Him said, no man, I can give you 30 million.
Yes.
I may say,
Right
30
now.
million? Yes, man, I can give it to you right on the spot. What I am going to do now is to say to you, sorry, but I'm getting $5 million more on the house. So I
And
really
you
want
can't even compete
you cannot compete.
because you struggle to actually go up to the 25. You forgot
Absolutely.
NHT, you forgot your bank.
Absolutely. You can't
And
come
you,
and what is also true is that you're getting cash.
yes.
So that
So why
process
you
is
gonna
like a day
refuse
or
it?
two. Is like a day or two. There are two persons that I know of. One of them was my when I was in primary school. She taught me, and I knew where she lived, and nice property, fruit trees to kill. She have mango tree, plum tree, apple tree, star fruit tree, breadfruit tree, and she have like several different mango trees. So I mean, fruit, 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 fruit. And they came and approached her for the property, and she says, "No, this is where she, at her age, she can't get another mortgage. So, and what it is that she'll be getting for the house, she can't buy the house. So, because if she's getting 20 million now, for her to go and buy something that is nice, is we're talking about $30 million.
Yes.
And the developer said to her, "Don't worry about it. Um, we will find you a nice place. So we'll buy this property from you,
And ship it somewhere else.
and I'm going to put you up to, I will buy you, I will pretty much, he said, I'll buy you a property. I'll buy you a property in exchange for this property."
Wow.
And the developer, as I'm told, um, bought a lovely apartment for her. You know, move-in ready, top of the line apartment. Developer paid a penny for it, but guess what? Wasn't a problem to the developer, because the developer not only got her land but got her neighbor's land to buy also, and made a monstrosity of a complex out of it, to the point where one of my colleagues from work ended up living over there. So I was able to go on the property to see what it looks like. A
Yeah.
monstrosity of, I mean, when I talk about the units, there were scores of units on this property. So I'm telling you, these developers are getting millions of dollars, millions of dollars. Now, let us talk about the trees, because all of those trees are gone because they need parking, they need to build a place, and so forth and so
Yes.
on. God,
Yes.
God help those residents know who will go and plant a banana tree or a planting tree. Them can't plant a breadfruit tree because that is when they don't have enough space between the
Oh,
neighbor and their house to plant the breadfruit tree. Them can't plant that. The mango tree can't plant neither, right? So they may have a little shrub. So they're taking out all of these massive trees just to put in a banana and planting, and then three,
or
four,
some little orchid flowers. Look at something.
it is not enough to attract the amount of carbon dioxide that we want to attract, right?
Mm-mm.
So I say this to say to you that if we don't pull up our socks, we are going to be in a bind.
Yep.
We are going to be in a serious bind. All right. What I want you to do for me, I would love if you could go through the carbon cycle. Let me just quickly just reference the carbon cycle. Um, when we speak about death and decay, death and decay goes into our fossil fuels, and we know fossil fuels are not easily regenerated because it takes millions of years in order for a
Is it
piece of rock,
non-renewable? Mm-hmm.
right, to be converted into fossil fuel. So you know that it is non-renewable, and you know that it takes quite a. So if you cut down, if you deforest an area, don't expect that those logs can be used later, the next 5 years or 20 years into
Long
fossil fuel,
process.
because it
Mm-hmm.
takes a longer time for them to be converted. Huh?
Yes, sir.
Good. So with that, then we move next to combustion. These people burn, um, and then you talk about gaseous carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. We talk about
Yes.
these gaseous carbon dioxide in the atmosphere are used by the plants for photosynthesis. So it is that we can have enough oxygen for both man and animal. And then we talk about respiration by the plants. And some of the carbon dioxide is also then absorbed in the
Into the
hydrosphere,
water. Mm.
right? Because there are three different spheres that we need to look at: the atmosphere, then the hydrosphere, then we also need to look at the lithosphere. And when this carbon dioxide is absorbed in the hydrosphere, remember, say it reduces, or best believe that it will reduce the amount of oxygen in the hydrosphere for these plants and fish and things there.
But it can't.
Absolutely. So when we look at the hydrosphere, we can look and see what happens. Now, finally, there are some aspects of the hydrosphere where it becomes a dead zone, almost no life form, because it is filled with so much carbon dioxide, right? That the carbon dioxide literally starts to precipitate out in the ocean, literally drop out. The carbon dioxide is actually forming out and it's converted to carbonates. And these are how these barnacles will be able to get their shells and the conch and all these lovely creatures, or the shells are formed because all of this carbon dioxide is then converted. Reaction takes place in the ocean, converted to these carbonates, and these carbonates, will cause a dead zone in the atmosphere, in the hydrosphere. Sorry. So it's really a cycle. It really is a cycle, and we need to understand. So they can ask you by drawing the carbon cycle, explain the carbon cycle, include a diagram. So you have to go draw the diagram, a diagram like such as this, and explain what is really happening at each stage. All right. So it is really interesting. I mean, every time I look at this course, I'm saying I get upset with myself, and I get upset with the government, and I get upset with my neighbors, and I get upset with everybody when I see that they're not doing what they're supposed to do. I am almost sure I saved a video that I was gonna send to the class, and I said no, I'm not gonna send it just yet. When the heavy rain started, maybe about 2 weeks ago, downtown Kingston, you could see the mass of rubbish that the water in the valley was pushing out into the harbor. I don't even saw the video, but I nearly flipped. I was mad because at no point in time should residents dump their garbage into the gully. Where are the authorities to prosecute? Where are the authorities to clean up? No, all of that grime and dirt and things, something and rate gone into the harbor, so that the fish that I'm going to be now eating are feasting on these plastic, let alone people are dying from cancers and other terminal illnesses because of the foods that we're eating, because we're thinking that the fish is eating something healthy. They are not. They are not. So, it's a lot of headache. But the more we learn and the more of you we send out there, is the greater the spread of the information, and hopefully we'll be able to do better. So thank you for being my lonesome companion. I don't hear from Alicia. Dan had a situation, so I heard from her. But I'm gonna send off these pages. It didn't come out all that bad all of it. I mean, you can't you're able to
Yeah, I
read it.
can see this, yes.
Yeah, man, because I mean, this is where I was reading from. So if you zoom in, you should be able to see the stuff. I have about 6 pages for this first unit that I'm going to send. We're going through. This is on page 3, so we have about 3 more pages to look at. I'm going to send it off. I'm going to post it in Canvas tonight, and then we can you can have it to read, so we can be part of the conversation. Because remember, for the exam is not for you to regurgitate any information as to, for example, what is this, what is that. It is more application. So you can get a case study. So I may, for example, show you a picture of all of those garbage dumped into a gully, and ask you as a environmentalist or an environmental chemist, to share some equations that are harmful to this. You will talk about, for example, the pollution of the lithosphere that will in turn move to the hydrosphere, and you're going to talk about all of these. And remember, anytime you talk about things like these, always include in your essay how to mitigate. It may not ask you, but always let them know that you are thinking. Even in your conclusion, paragraph. Always speak about ways to mitigate whatever you would have discussed, right? Because it is now saying to me that yes, you are that chemical environmentalist or environmental chemist that is out there looking to protect the environment. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for application. We don't want you to regurgitate this because the information out there already. We want to create a scenario for you and you now go and mitigate against what is happening. So you identify the problem, but don't, you know, sometimes we identify problems and we don't know how to solve them. We want a solution. All right. So as soon as this recording becomes available, I will send off and also update the stuff on Canvas. Thanks for coming out.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Have a good night.
You too, hon. Bye bye.